Welcome back, deep divers. Today we're diving into a topic that I know a lot of you are fascinated by, pyramids.
Ooh, pyramids.
Yeah,
Nice.
and we're going really deep on this one, exploring some pretty out there theories about them.
Right.
But to get there, we're going to start with some awesome source material you sent over, mostly from the History Channel's Ancient Aliens series.
Okay, cool.
Now, I know what you're thinking, aliens.
Yeah.
But trust me, stick with us on this one, even if you're not into the whole extraterrestrial thing.
Right.
Because the mysteries surrounding these ancient structures are seriously fascinating.
You really are.
Okay, so to kick things off.
Yeah.
You know, when most people think of pyramids,
Yeah.
they think of, like, Egypt.
Of course. Yeah.
Right, the Giza Plateau, the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But what's really mind-blowing is that pyramids
What?
aren't just an Egyptian thing.
Right.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, they pop up all over the globe. It's crazy.
You're telling me. Our source material here mentions pyramids in Sudan,
Mm-hmm.
India, China,
Yep.
Indonesia, even Bosnia.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so intriguing.
It really is, because, like, how did all these seemingly unconnected civilizations,
Mm-hmm.
separated by, vast distances in time,
Right.
end up building such similar structures?
I know. It's wild, right?
Yeah.
That's the million-dollar question for sure.
It is, and it's one that sparked so many different theories
So many.
and debates over the years.
Yeah.
So, to try to get to the bottom of this whole pyramid puzzle,
Okay.
let's start with the OG pyramid, the one that everyone knows.
Yeah. Got to start there.
The Big Kahuna, the Great Pyramid of Giza.
The granddaddy of them all.
Exactly. Now, we all learned in school that it was built as Pharaoh Khufu's tomb.
Right. Yeah. The classic explanation.
Right. But the source material here
Okay.
actually presents some pretty compelling arguments
Yeah.
against that theory.
Interesting.
For example, did you know that nobody has ever been found inside the Great Pyramid?
I did know that. And it's one of the biggest mysteries surrounding it.
Like, if it was really meant to be a tomb, wouldn't you think they would have found,
Yeah, a pharaoh, or at least some trace of one.
Exactly. And then there's the fact that for a tomb, it is a tad overkill, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're talking about 2.5 million blocks of stone.
What?
Yeah. Some of them weighing up to 70 tons each.
70 tons.
It's like, why go through all that trouble just to bury one guy?
It's crazy. It's like building a fortress for your, family photo albums or something.
Yeah, a little excessive, wouldn't you say?
Just a bit. And then there's the whole mystery of those shafts inside.
Ah, yes, the air shafts.
The air shafts, except, as it turns out,
Except they might be more than just that.
they're not just for ventilation.
Right. They seem to be aligned with very specific star constellations.
Oh, wow. Like which ones?
Well, one of the most notable alignments is with Orion's belt.
Orion's belt. Hold on. So they were stargazing while they were building this massive tomb.
Well, it seems that way, doesn't it? And it suggests a level of astronomical knowledge
Yeah.
that's pretty advanced for their time.
I mean, way ahead of their time, right?
Exactly.
Hmm.
It makes you wonder if there's more to the story than we've been told.
Okay, yeah, I'm starting to see why those ancient astronaut theorists get so excited about pyramids.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
I mean, this alignment with the stars, it's like a cosmic connection or something.
It is. And there's actually another detail about the Great Pyramid
Okay.
that's even more intriguing.
More intriguing. What could be more intriguing than star shafts?
Well, how about this? It doesn't actually have 4 sides.
What? No way. Hold on, are we talking about some, secret hidden sides here?
Not exactly hidden, but not immediately obvious either.
Okay.
The Great Pyramid actually have 8 sides.
8 sides.
Yeah. They're visible only from the air at dawn and sunset during the equinoxes.
Whoa. So you're saying that this whole time, the Great Pyramid has been playing this, cosmic game of hide and seek?
It kind of seems that way, doesn't it?
That's mind-blowing. So what do the ancient astronaut theorists
Yeah.
make of all this? What's their take?
Well, they suggest that pyramids, like the Great Pyramid,
Okay.
could be geodetic markers intentionally placed at specific points on Earth
Okay.
and aligned with the stars to be visible from, space.
From space. So, they're saying aliens could see these things.
Exactly. And they believe that ancient civilizations were far more advanced
Right.
than we give them credit for,
Yeah.
potentially even having contact with
Wait for it.
extraterrestrial beings.
Extraterrestrials. Okay, that's a pretty wild idea, I gotta admit.
It is wild, but the evidence is pretty compelling, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to come around. It kind of ties into the whole as above, so below concept, right?
Exactly. That's the idea that ancient civilizations mirrored celestial alignments, in their structures, possibly to tap into like cosmic forces or
Right.
knowledge
Oh, yeah.
that we don't yet understand. It's like they were sending a message,
A
right?
message. To who?
Across time and space, maybe to us.
Wow, that's deep. Literally a message in stone.
A message in stone, exactly. And the thing is, it's not just the Great Pyramid.
Right, you mentioned that pyramids are found all over the world.
Yeah, all over.
And you even included some information about the Borobudur Temple in Indonesia.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
So what's the connection to pyramids there? I'm super curious about that.
Well, while Borobudur isn't a traditional pyramid in the sense of, having those sharp angular sides, it does have this distinct pyramidal shape.
Okay.
And it's got some really interesting features that are only fully visible from above.
Oh, so more sky-high secrets. I'm sensing a theme here.
You gotta imagine this. When viewed from above,
Okay.
the entire temple forms this giant Buddhist mandala.
A mandala.
Yeah, it's a symbol of the universe in Buddhist teachings.
Wow.
And it's a remarkably intricate design, too.
Okay.
It's made up of levels and terraces,
Uh-huh.
and they all represent different stages of enlightenment.
Whoa. That's incredible. It's like they were creating a blueprint of the cosmos, but in stone.
Exactly. And then there are the stupas.
Yeah, you mentioned those before. What are stupas again?
So stupas are these bell-shaped structures.
Okay.
And they contain Buddha statues.
Uh-huh.
And there are 72 of them spread across the entire temple.
72.
Yeah. And the placement and arrangement of these stupas are most impressive, you guessed it, when seen from the sky.
Wow. So we've got these structures all over the world with these like hidden alignments and designs meant to be seen from above.
I know, it's wild.
It really makes you wonder what these ancient builders were trying to achieve.
Doesn't it?
Like, were they sending a message to the gods or to future generations or, as the ancient astronaut theorists suggest, to beings from other worlds?
It's the ultimate question, isn't it? And it takes us even deeper into this whole pyramid mystery.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Because it's not just about what's visible.
Okay.
It's also about what's being hidden.
Wait, hold on. You mentioned something about pyramids being hidden.
Yeah.
Like deliberately covered up.
There are claims, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, there are claims of pyramids in China that the government has allegedly been trying to keep under wraps.
Oh, whoa. Back up a second. China has pyramids.
Yeah.
And they're trying to hide them.
Apparently so.
This is crazy. What's the story there?
Well, there have been reports and images circulating for years now
Okay.
of pyramid-shaped structures
Okay.
in various parts of China, some of them quite large.
Really?
But the details are, well, they're pretty shrouded in mystery.
Of course they are.
But some researchers claim that the Chinese government has gone to great lengths
Okay.
to obscure these structures from public view.
How?
Like planting vegetation on and around them
Oh, wow.
to make them blend into the landscape.
That's wild. But why would they do that? I mean, what are they so afraid of? Is it simply a matter of protecting ancient tombs? Or is there something more to it? Something they don't want the world to know?
It's a good question. It definitely raises more questions than answers, for sure.
For sure. And it's not just happening in China, right?
Right. You also shared some info about similar claims surrounding the Bosnian pyramids.
Oh, yes, the Bosnian pyramids. Those are a relatively recent discovery, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been quite a bit of controversy surrounding them, too.
I can imagine.
Some researchers believe that these structures are genuine ancient pyramids.
Okay.
Potentially even older than the Egyptian pyramids.
Really? Wow.
But mainstream archaeology has been pretty hesitant to embrace that theory.
Yeah, I bet. And there's been a lot of debate about, the validity of the claims.
Right, there's a lot of back and forth.
So we've got pyramids popping up all over the place.
Yeah.
Some hidden, some disputed, all with their own unique mysteries.
For sure.
It's enough to make you wonder if there's a whole lot more to our ancient history than, what we've been taught.
It really is. And perhaps we're only just scratching the surface of what these structures represent.
Oh.
And the knowledge they hold.
Yeah.
But to understand that knowledge, we might need to look beyond conventional explanations.
You're saying we need to get a little radical.
Maybe just a little.
Oh, you know me. I'm always up for a good dose of radical ideas.
I know you are.
So what's next on our pyramid adventure? Where do we go from here?
Next, we'll dive into some, shall we say, groundbreaking research.
Yay.
That might just challenge everything you thought you knew about pyramids.
I am ready to have my mind blown.
We're going to explore the work of Alexander Golod.
Alexander Golod.
Yeah, a Russian scientist who's been building pyramids in modern times.
Wait. Modern pyramids, like today, years-old pyramids.
Precisely.
What's that all about?
Golan, you see, he isn't just replicating ancient structures. He believes that pyramids can actually amplify energy fields.
Amplify energy fields.
Yeah. And he's been conducting all these experiments to test his theories.
And
the results are pretty astounding.
okay, I'm officially intrigued. Let's talk about these modern pyramids and the possibilities they unlock.
So what Golan's been doing is he's been building pyramids
Okay.
of various sizes using like different materials,
Oh, like what?
fiberglass, crystal, things like that.
So he's building these pyramids.
Yeah.
And he thinks they can harness
Uh-huh.
and amplify
Yeah.
some kind of natural energy that flows through the earth.
That's the idea.
So like pyramids are, what, some kind of ancient energy amplifier?
It's a possibility, isn't it?
I have to admit, this is not something they taught me in physics class. But what kind of energy are we talking about here? Like, what's the evidence?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. Golan's done a bunch of experiments
Okay.
placing, different things inside his pyramid.
Okay, like what kind of thing?
Like water, seeds, crystals, all sorts of stuff.
And what happened? What did he find?
He documented some pretty amazing results, actually. He claims that water stored in a pyramid
Yeah.
becomes structured.
Structured.
Yeah, meaning the molecules become, like, more organized.
Mm.
And he says that seeds germinate faster
Oh,
and plants grow stronger.
really?
There are even reports of, like, improved healing and enhanced meditation experiences.
Inside these pyramids.
Inside the pyramids, yeah.
So you're telling me that just being inside a pyramid
Mhm.
can have, like, a tangible effect on living things?
Seems that way.
Wow. That's a pretty big claim. But if it's true,
Yeah.
that would kind of, like, rewrite our understanding of how energy works, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And it gets even more mind-blowing.
More mind-blowing how?
The Russian Air Force, they got involved
The Russian Air Force.
using their own, like, super fancy equipment.
Okay.
Reportedly detected a massive energy field
A massive energy field. Okay.
over a mile high
A mile high.
above one of Gulad's pyramids.
Whoa. A mile-high energy field coming from a pyramid.
That's what they're saying.
That's not just some, like, subtle energy shift.
Yeah.
That's like a major anomaly.
It's a big deal.
I mean, if the Russian military is taking notice, there must be something to this, right? But what does it all mean? Like, what were the ancient pyramid builders doing with this energy?
Oh, no, right? That's the question everyone's asking.
Oh.
It's driving so much research right now.
Yeah.
And speculation.
So what are some of the theories?
Some researchers think that ancient civilizations,
Mhm.
they understood and utilized this, like, pyramid energy
Okay.
for, different things,
Great
like
guy.
enhancing agriculture,
Mhm.
healing,
Okay.
maybe even communicating across, like, really long distances.
Oh, whoa. Communicating.
Yeah,
Using pyramid power.
it's a possibility.
So you're saying that pyramids weren't just tombs or monuments, they were like sophisticated energy devices. It's a wild idea, right?
That is wild. And it makes me think about, like, all those chambers within the Mayan pyramids, you were saying how they were used for,
For rituals.
yeah, rituals and transformation.
Right.
Do you think those rituals, like, could have been amplified or enhanced
Mm-hmm.
by the pyramid's energy?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, imagine a chamber specifically designed
Yeah.
to, like, harness
Yeah.
and focus that pyramid energy. It
Yeah.
could have been a space for, really deep meditation,
Oh, okay.
healing,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even accessing altered states of consciousness.
Wow. Yeah, it makes sense, right? Because, we were talking earlier about how the Mayans were so connected to the cosmos.
Totally.
And it's fascinating to think that they might have used pyramids to, like, deepen that connection even further.
Right.
I remember you mentioned that the Mayans were, like, obsessed with Mars.
Yeah, they were fascinated by it.
So what's the connection between pyramids and, like, the red planet?
This is where it gets even more interesting.
So the Mayans,
Yeah.
right, they had this super complex calendar system.
Okay.
And a key part of that system was, like, tracking the movements of Mars.
Mars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their Dresden Codex.
The Dresden Codex.
It's one of their most important surviving texts.
Right.
It contains all these calculations and observations
Yeah.
related to, like, Mars's cycles.
Oh, wow.
And it even describes this mythical event
A mythical event? Like what?
involving a cataclysm on Mars.
A cataclysm. Like a disaster.
Exactly.
On Mars. Oh, now this is where the ancient astronaut theorists really start to geek out, right?
Oh, they go wild for this.
So what are they saying about this Martian cataclysm
Oh,
and
this-
like its connection to Earth?
They believe it's more than just a myth.
Okay.
They point to all this scientific evidence that Mars may have once had, like a thicker atmosphere
Oh, wow.
and even liquid water on its surface.
Whoa.
And they propose that like a massive cosmic event,
Yeah.
like a comet impact.
Okay.
Just like stripped away Mars's atmosphere and basically rendered it uninhabitable.
Okay, so Mars might have been like Earth
Yeah.
2.0,
Exactly.
and then boom,
Yeah.
something catastrophic happened.
Exactly.
That's a pretty dramatic story.
It is.
But what does it have to do with us here on Earth?
That's where it gets really mind-blowing.
Okay.
The ancient astronaut theorists propose
Yeah.
that the survivors
The survivors of what?
of this Martian cataclysm,
Okay.
potentially like advanced beings with advanced technology,
Yeah.
sought refuge on Earth.
Wait, Martian refugees on Earth?
That's the theory.
So we're talking like a mass exodus from Mars to Earth?
Possibly?
Did they like all come at once, or were there multiple waves of arrivals? How did they even get here?
Those are all great questions, and honestly, we don't have definitive answers.
Yeah, okay.
But the ancient astronaut theorists,
Yeah.
they draw a connection between these Martian refugees and the Anunnaki.
The Anunnaki. Okay, remind me, who are the Anunnaki again?
Oh, you know those mysterious beings described in those ancient Sumerian texts?
Oh, yeah, the Sumerian texts. You're familiar with Zecharia Sitchin's work, right?
Of course. Who isn't?
Yeah, Sitchin. He's the one who came up with the whole idea that the Anunnaki were like extraterrestrials who came to Earth.
Yep.
And messed around with human civilization.
All right. Pretty much.
Yeah, he took those Sumerian myths pretty literally, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, he did. He spent decades studying those texts and concluded that the Anunnaki were these super advanced beings from a planet called Nibiru.
Nibiru, okay.
Which he believed was on this like long elliptical orbit around our sun.
Hold on, Nibiru. Isn't that the planet that some people thought was going to collide with Earth?
You're thinking of that whole 2012 doomsday thing?
Oh, yeah.
Sitchin's interpretation was like a little more subtle.
Okay.
He believed Nibiru wasn't on a collision course.
Okay.
But on like a 3,600-year orbit.
Wow, 3,600 years.
Bringing it close to Earth periodically. And he said that these close encounters were like super intense times.
Okay.
For humanity, all this upheaval and change.
Because
the Anunnaki would come back.
Oh, wow.
And interact with their creations.
Their creations meaning?
Us, humans.
Whoa, okay. So Sitchin believed that the Anunnaki, these advanced beings from Nibiru, were the ones who came to Earth after Mars went kaput.
That's right.
And that they're the ones who, like, created humans.
Or at least had a hand in it.
That's a bold claim. What's his evidence?
Well, he bases his theories on his interpretation.
Oh, interpretations.
Of those ancient Sumerian texts.
Okay.
Like the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Atrahasis Epic.
Okay.
Which describe the creation of humans and the Great Flood.
Right, the flood.
And he also points to ancient artifacts and artwork. Depicting beings with like super advanced technology and knowledge.
So ancient myths and interpretations of symbols, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's not exactly what I'd call hard scientific evidence, is it?
It's definitely not mainstream science, that's for sure.
Yeah, which is probably why Sitchin's work is so controversial, right?
Oh, totally. Lots of scholars and scientists think he's way off base.
I can see that.
But his theories definitely raise some really interesting questions.
They do.
About, like, the origins of human civilization. And the possibility of extraterrestrial influence.
Extraterrestrial influence. I remember you mentioned that the Anunnaki were supposedly here for gold, right?
Yeah, that's part of the story.
What's that all about?
So, according to Sitchin, the Anunnaki, they needed gold.
To do what?
To repair their planet's atmosphere.
Nibiru's atmosphere?
Nibiru's atmosphere, yeah.
And it was damaged how?
In some, like, unknown cataclysm.
Oh, so another cataclysm.
And they came to Earth because it was, like, rich in gold.
Right.
And saw humans as, like, this potential workforce.
To help them mine the gold.
Exactly.
So they created us to be their gold miners.
That's what Sitchin suggests.
Wow, that's not exactly a flattering origin story.
Not really, no.
But if they were so advanced, why didn't they just create, like, robots or something to mine the gold for them?
That's a good question. Sitchin suggests that, like, their genetic engineering skills were kind of limited.
Okay.
And they needed, a species that was, like, intelligent enough to follow instructions.
Right.
but not so intelligent as to, like, pose a threat.
So we were like their, like, Goldilocks species. Not too dumb, not too smart, just ripe for digging up gold.
Exactly.
I guess it's better than being exterminated, but it still doesn't make me feel very special.
Maybe there's more to this story.
Like what?
Remember that mile-high energy field we talked about?
The one over Goulad's pyramid?
That one. Some researchers think that the ancient pyramids,
Mm-hmm.
especially the Great Pyramid,
Okay.
were built to, like, harness and manipulate similar energy fields.
Oh, wow.
Possibly for communication, transportation, maybe even, like, consciousness-altering purposes.
Consciousness-altering?
Yeah.
So maybe the Anunnaki weren't just here for the gold.
Maybe not.
Maybe they had, like, other motives, other reasons for interacting with humans.
It's a possibility, isn't it?
Perhaps they saw something in us, some potential that we haven't fully realized yet.
That's a beautiful thought.
It is. And it leads to an even bigger question. If the Anunnaki did play a role in our evolution, what was their ultimate goal? Were they just exploiting us for our labor, or were they guiding us toward, like, something greater?
Wow. That's a profound question.
I know, right? But you also mentioned something about, like, the Great Flood earlier.
I did. The flood plays a big part in these stories.
What's the connection between, like, the flood and the Anunnaki?
Well, according to Sitchin's interpretation of those Sumerian texts,
Yeah.
the Great Flood wasn't just some natural disaster.
Okay, it
It was
was
a deliberate act.
a deliberate act by...
Orchestrated by the Anunnaki.
The Anunnaki caused the flood.
Or at least, like, a faction of them.
Wait, hold on. So the beings who supposedly created us also tried to destroy us.
That's what the stories say.
That's messed up. Why would they wipe out their own creation? What was the point?
Sitchin suggests that there were, like, divisions among the Anunnaki.
Okay, like what?
Some, like Enlil.
Enlil, okay.
He's often depicted as, like, this stern patriarch,
Okay.
saw humans as a nuisance.
Okay.
A threat.
Okay, so they didn't like us?
Not really.
Okay.
While others,
Enki?
like Enki,
Enki? Okay.
who was often portrayed as more compassionate,
Okay.
valued humans and tried
Yeah.
to, like, protect them.
Oh, wow.
So it was like this cosmic battle,
A cosmic battle.
between the pro-human and the anti-human Anunnaki.
Wow. And the flood was, like, their final showdown.
You could see it that way.
That's intense. But if they wanted to, like, totally wipe out humanity,
Yeah.
why did some of us survive? What about, like, Noah and his ark?
Noah. So in the Sumerian text, there's this guy named Ziusudra.
Ziusudra.
Yeah. And he's warned about the flood by Enki.
Oh, Enki, the good guy.
Exactly. And he's told to build a boat to save himself,
Okay.
his family,
Mm-hmm.
and all sorts of animals.
Wait a minute. This sounds a lot like the story of Noah's Ark.
Right.
So are you saying that the biblical flood story
Yeah.
is based on this, like, older Sumerian account?
That's a common theory.
Wow. And if that's true, does that mean that Noah was actually, like, in contact with the Anunnaki?
It's definitely a possibility.
I mean, this is like trying to, like, untangle myth from reality, isn't it?
Exactly.
Where does one end and the other begin?
It's a question that's plagued humanity for centuries.
Yeah, it really has. But okay, so we've got all these ancient myths and interpretations, right?
Mm.
But what about, like, actual physical evidence?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Remember how the ancient astronaut theorists believed that Mars holds clues
Yeah.
to the Anunnaki's presence in our solar system?
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier. What kind of evidence are they talking about?
Well, there are a few intriguing features on Mars that have gotten a lot of attention.
God, who?
Researchers and, well, anyone who's into this stuff.
And what are those features?
Features that might suggest
Okay.
that there was, like, an ancient Martian
The
civilization.
Martian civilization. Okay, I am all ears. Tell me more about these Martian mysteries.
Well, one of the most famous ones is the, the face on Mars.
The face on Mars. Oh, yeah. That's that rock formation, right?
Right, in the Cydonia region.
Cydonia. Okay.
And it was in some of those photos
Yeah.
taken by the Viking orbiter
Striking it.
back in '76.
I remember those. They looked, well, I mean, they really did look like a face.
Right. It's pretty spooky.
It was. But didn't NASA come out and, like, debunk that whole thing?
It did.
Saying it was just, like, a trick of the light and shadows?
Yeah, that's the official explanation.
And, there were those newer pictures, right? Taken with, like, way better cameras.
Much higher resolution.
And the face looked, well, less face-like.
Definitely less face-like.
So, case closed.
Well, not so fast.
There's more.
Some researchers, especially those who are into the whole ancient astronaut thing,
Okay.
They say those newer images don't totally rule out the possibility that the face is artificial.
Artificial, like it was built by someone.
That's what they're suggesting. And they point to other things in the Cydonia region.
Like what?
Like there's this formation that looks a lot like a 5-sided pyramid.
A 5-sided pyramid on Mars.
Yeah, which they say supports the idea of, like an ancient civilization on Mars.
I have to admit, the whole geometric shapes thing has always intrigued me. Like pyramids, the face, it's hard to imagine how nature could just randomly create those kinds of precise shapes.
I know, right? It really makes you think.
It does. But even if there was some kind of ancient civilization on Mars, wouldn't we have found, like, more solid proof by now? I mean, we've got rovers up there taking pictures, analyzing the soil, all that stuff.
You'd think so, right?
I would. But here's where things get, like, really juicy.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Some researchers, even some former NASA employees,
really
are claiming that there's, like, a deliberate effort to suppress evidence of an ancient Martian civilization.
Oh, like a cover-up.
Are we talking, like, Men in Black stuff here?
That's what they're saying. And it's not just NASA. Apparently, it could be other government agencies, too.
Okay, this is getting a little X-Files for me. What kind of evidence are they basing all this on?
Well, they point to the Brookings Report.
The Brookings Report?
Yeah, it's a study that NASA commissioned back in 1960.
Oh, wow, back in the 60s. Yeah. Okay, and what was it about?
Well, it was all about, like, exploring the potential impact on society of discovering extraterrestrial life.
Right, and what did they conclude?
They basically said that finding aliens could be really, really unsettling.
For people?
For the public, yeah.
Okay.
And might even lead to, like, widespread panic.
I mean, I can kind of understand that. Imagine waking up one morning and the headlines are all, "Scientists confirm we are not alone." Oh. It would definitely freak some people out.
It would, and that's what the cover-up people are saying, right?
Okay.
That the Brookings Report proves that NASA, and maybe even the whole government, are basically prepared to keep secrets.
Secrets about?
About aliens.
Okay, so they're saying they would hide the truth from us, even if it meant, like, suppressing a major scientific discovery.
That's the claim, yeah.
But why? What would be the point of hiding something that big?
They say it's about control.
Control?
Yeah, preventing panic,
Right.
Maybe even protecting certain interests.
Interests?
Like the military-industrial complex, that kind of thing.
Wow, that's a pretty heavy accusation.
It is. It is.
But hold on a second. If there really was evidence of, like, life on Mars, wouldn't scientists from all over the world want to, like, study it? I mean, wouldn't that be, like, the biggest scientific breakthrough of all time?
It would be massive.
It would. And that brings us to another interesting piece of this puzzle, Dr. Gil Levin. Dr. Gil Levin.
Yeah. He designed one of the life detection experiments for the Viking mission back in the 70s.
Yeah, Viking, wow, okay.
And he's been saying for years now that his experiment actually did show...
Show what?
Signs of microbial life.
Microbial life on Mars.
On Mars.
Wait, are you telling me that there's, like, proof of life on Mars sitting in some NASA file cabinet somewhere?
He claims there is.
That's incredible. Why wouldn't they want to investigate that further?
Well, that's what Levin's been asking, too.
Okay.
He claims NASA's just been ignoring his results.
Really?
Yeah.
And hasn't sent any other life detection missions to Mars, which he sees as evidence of a cover-up. Okay, this is all starting to feel like a sci-fi movie, you know?
It is pretty wild.
Government conspiracies, hidden evidence, ancient civilizations on Mars. This deep dive is definitely living up to its name.
It's a lot to process, right?
It is. But I guess we have to remember that, like, we're dealing with a lot of theories and interpretations here. We don't have that, like, one definitive piece of proof.
Yeah, no smoking gun.
So where does that leave us? What's the takeaway for our listeners after all this?
I think the most important thing is to, like, just keep an open mind.
An open mind, okay.
Yeah. There's so many mysteries in the world, things we don't fully understand.
Right.
Questions that, might never have clear answers.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we should stop asking them,
I like that. Keep asking the questions, keep exploring, keep searching for the truth, even if it's, like, out there somewhere in space.
Exactly. We may never know for sure if aliens built the pyramids.
Yeah.
But trying to understand our origins, where we fit in this vast universe, and whether we're alone, those are questions that should keep pushing us forward.
Well said. It's all about the journey, the exploration, the endless pursuit of knowledge, right? And hey, who knows? Maybe one day we'll be the ones traveling through those stargates, uncovering the secrets of the cosmos, and finally meeting those ancient astronauts face to face.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
It would. But until then, keep looking up, deep divers.
Yes.
There's always more to discover.